this is Dominic, wedding DJ.
And this is Serena, wedding planner.
And together we are
The Wedding Duo.
We are here to talk all things weddings.
Planning a wedding can be stressful, but we are here to help.
So before you say, that's it, we're going to Vegas, don't go to Vegas.
Let's have some fun.
Join us as we answer your wedding questions and help navigate planning one of the biggest days of your life with
The Wedding Duo.
How's everyone doing? It is a Thursday night. So my name is Dominic. I'm half of the Wedding Duo here on Instagram, and I'm here to answer some wedding questions. If you have questions, feel free to put them into the comments. By the way, I'm a wedding DJ, and yeah, I've been doing this, I've been saying 15 years for a few years now, so I don't really know how many years I've been doing it, but it's been a few. All right, let's see what you have to say. Is it B Latch or Blatch 28? Hello from Iowa. Hello in Iowa. Our reception is at the hotel we are staying at. Recommendations on how to do the exit. Doing a grand exit after the ceremony. They're probably not going to let you have sparklers in the lobby. They may let you do bubbles. Everybody, the real popular right now, the LED wands. It looks like a pool noodle that lights up. It's got 3 settings on the bottom with the LED lights in it. Those look great, and they're very easy. They love to have a party with them. Like, bring them out during the dance party. Everyone's out there like everyone's having little sword fights with them or lightsaber fights. And then you have your DJ say, everybody head out to the lobby. Bring your glow stick with you because we're going to line up. Those are going to be over your head. Or you can do even streamers, like a stick with a streamer in it. That looks pretty cool. I've had balloons on a stick before. You can get the balloons with the LEDs, the little LED inside of it. They're a little more expensive, but they're balloons, so they're not super expensive. But, quick side story. It says on those balloons, like, be careful if that balloon pops, that thing could be a projectile. We had one, somebody gave us one, I think I brought it back from a wedding. And my 10-year-old son, who at the time was like 4, maybe 3, he was sitting on it, or his sister was, and pop, kapow! I mean, he had this welt between his eyes. I was like, God, I almost blinded my child. These are things as parents, you're just like, And unfortunately, those apples didn't fall far from the tree, so they are very danger prone, and they have a dangerous lack of fear. This is why. Dog of Honor _event said, I bet you're a cool dad. Thank you. I think I'm the best dad ever. I mean, my kids love me. That's all that matters. But I do enjoy being a dad. I love being a DJ, but dad, man, that's the best title of all time. I wish it on all of you that are heading into that phase of your life. It's fantastic. Don't rush it. Be married for a while and enjoy each other's company. If you might already, we already had kids when we got married, but Lori Del 5 said, any suggestions for a 25th anniversary dance? So it's always nice to go back to the era when you originally got married and find a song from your era, like that time when you were dating. Most people do their first dance from their wedding. Again, it's like it's almost like a callback. Like, this was a song. You're like, I remember this song. This was popular back in the day. I don't think it's necessary to have necessarily a song that says 25th, something like that. But since you've been together for this long, you can do a song like Remember When by Alan Jackson, because that talks about benchmarks through your life together. You can talk about Through the Years by Kenny Rogers, or who else sang that one? I can't remember. Somebody else covered it as well, but it's Through the Years. You can do something like I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith, because that also talks about, going through life together. So those are good songs. Those are the ones I use for the anniversary dance a lot, because for the same exact reason, I'm out there calling people out like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and I'm talking about people that have been married. The day, you're on somebody's wedding day. Well, that's the first thing I say. I start the song and I let it get to the first chorus, and then I say, I grab my mic. If you've been married less than 6 hours, please leave the dance floor. Less than 6 hours. People go, why would you start? Oh, and the bride and groom are like, okay. So I start there. Then I go 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. But those are all great songs. Actually, let me look at my list and see what else I got for anniversary songs. The Rest of Our Life by Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. I've Had the Time of My Life from Dirty Dancing. Look at Us by Vince Gill. I know there's a lot of country. Have I Told You Lately? That was a Van Morrison song, which is beautiful, but Rod Stewart covered it again in the 90s, I think. John Legend has All of Me. Love of My Life, Sammy Kershaw, right? Come on, that's a good one. How about Luther? Always and forever. I do love me some Luther. I don't get to use that one as much anymore. People seem to have forgotten about it. Or you can just go straight to meow, 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 meow. Let's get it on. Are you still getting it on your 25th wedding anniversary? I hope so. I hope so. Did I move out of a G to PG rating suddenly? My 4 boys, 39, said, looking for a good mother-son dance that's not overdone. So I mentioned a few earlier. This, again, is my music planner. If you're looking to download this, you can go to our profile, hit the link. It'll take you to our shop, or you can go to the shop at theweddingduo.co, and it is available to download. So the parent section, like I said, I have bride and dad, groom and mom, bride and mom, because that's a thing. And then I've got about 80 plus songs of other category, basically. And they work for a parent dance, but they also work for a bride dancing with a brother or an uncle or a stepfather or a stepchild or grandpa. You know, I mean, it could be any one of those. But there's a few good ones in there. One of the ones I love, Jason Mraz has a song called 93 Million Miles. It's a fantastic song. And he's singing about his mama. The Dixie Chicks, formerly the Dixie Chicks, now they're the Chicks, have a song called Godspeed. That was beautiful as well. The band Perry, P-E-R-R-Y, has a song called Mother Like Mine, which is beautiful. Let me throw some other ones out there. One of my favorites, I mention this on every live, I swear, because it comes up, because this question comes up. There's a song by Lori McKenna. Lori spells it L-O-R-I. It's called When You're My Age. Oh, it's such a good song. I mean, sometimes I'll just put it on just to get a good crack. Cole Chanko, there you go. Same category. I was just reading through those. You guys are on the same page. For the mother-son. Lori.2, daughter getting married in June. We are discussing if we should do complete songs for first dances or phase them out. Yeah, so it's of course like everything else. It's up to you. But your first dance, unless it's like a really long, like a 5.5 minute song, if it's like 3.5, 4 minutes, like I think it's great to tune everybody else out and just sing the song to one another. But not everybody likes the center of attention, or they can't stand the center of attention, and the hair in the back of their neck stands up just thinking about that first dance. So yeah, the reason I say 2 minutes, try to get to at least 2 minutes. One, that still goes by very fast. But your photographer and your videographer, if you have a videographer, they spent the last hour during cocktail hour doing pictures with like, drop your chin, relax your shoulders, put your bouquet down, you know, turn this way, turn that way, smiling, and all that stuff. They took all the stage pictures, and those are great. But during your first dance, they're trying to get the organic shots where the two of you are like looking at each other, maybe wiping a tear, singing to each other, a really pretty natural smile. And they're also waiting until you take one more step, because then they get the fire extinguisher or the exit sign or the trash can out of the picture, so they don't have to Photoshop that later. But they need some time to be able to get that shot, because it's not just going to walk out in 30 seconds, you go off and they're like, oh my God, I got like 2 pictures of their first dance act, because they take way more pictures than will be in your gallery, I guarantee you. They take sometimes thousands of pictures over the course of the night, and they just want to kit some, because there's going to be some where you get a mid-blink, you know, that picture is not going in the gallery, right? But you got to give them time to do that. And it's your first dance, or it's you and dad, or it's you and mom, like groom and mom. Like, let that song go at least 2 minutes. But shoot for 2 minutes. And like I said, I mentioned this earlier, give your DJ a nod or stop dancing and go into a hug. That can be your cue. You can have a code. I sometimes say if you do a twirl into a dip, that's very sweet. Ooh, the lift, you can do. No, we'll save the lift for later. But yeah, totally up to you. But most people fade them out, I would have to say. I see more 2 minutes on my notes than I do full, which means full song. But someday I'm going to be dancing with my daughter, and I will tell the DJ, I will break your finger if you touch that volume, because I'm dancing that whole song with my baby girl. But anyway, I don't think it's a news flash to anybody that I don't mind being the center of attention. Shoot, I'm a DJ, for goodness sakes. April 179, or maybe April 79, said, Alan Stone's Sunny Days. We love this song, and we're not sure where to use it at our wedding. Also torn between Consider Me by Alan Stone, as well as Tangled Up in You by Stain for our first dance. Your first dance, I mean, you got to like just listen to them, listen to the lyrics, and then one is finally going to be like, that. I mean, that's the one. Nothing can compete with that one. That's like our song. But like I mentioned before, if you have multiple songs like that, use one to go down the aisle, one for your first dance, your best one, right? And then do one at the end of the night as your solo dance, your private last dance, just the two of you. So then they all have a home. Worst case, you could put one of them as a cake song, because sometimes we're looking for a cake song and people are like, I didn't know you had to pick a cake song. You don't have to pick a cake song. But it sometimes is a song I'll play. Or if you say we'd like to slow it down at one or two spots during the dance party, and we can put that song in there, especially if it's one that everybody knows. Renee Anderson, I hope you were on here. I just gave a bunch of songs for groom and mother of the groom. Ashley 1515 is 2 minutes too long to have your guests wait to make your entrance. Are you saying like wait till you're 2 minutes into the song? That's pretty long. That would be an awkward silence. But if it's 2 minutes as I'm introducing the wedding party and then the bride and groom come out, no, I don't think so. Not at all. But if it's just that beginning of the song, I would scoot the song forward. I start songs all the time. I look at where the big crescendo is, where the chorus is, where that spot is that it rips the roof off. And I back it up 10 seconds from there, and I kind of fade it in like, are we ready for the bride and groom? I said, are we ready for the bride and groom? I go, here they are, as husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Jack. And then, bah, the song drops. Oh my gosh. It just sets the stage. People are just like, it's fantastic. I like using music to get me where I want to go. Tila992 is hoping to use Beyonce's XO for my walk down the aisle. Any recommendations on how to make it work? So Beyonce's version of XO is a little bit more hip-hoppy club than maybe John Mayer. I know if you love some Queen Bee, then by all means you can use that one. But you can use John Mayer's version to go down the aisle maybe. It's the same song, he covered it. And then maybe use Beyonce's After You Say I Do to come off the aisle. I did a video not long ago on Love on Top as a recessional. Oh, it's fantastic. I think that, I don't want to start any controversy, but I think that might be her best work. You could also I've had a recessional, I've had the clean version of Cuff It as a recessional. I've had Crazy in Love, like here they are as husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Knowles. Ba, 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 right? Great one. I've had brides go down the aisle to Halo, or there is let me look it up, hang on. The Brooklyn Duo has an instrumental version of Halo that is really pretty. And I did a video on this too, where I had the Brooklyn Duo playing Halo. Also the Midnight String Quartet. The Brooklyn Duo is a piano and a cello. It's a husband and wife team, which sounds pretty, but if you want more of a string quartet, the Midnight String Quartet, and they spell it Nite, no G, they covered as well. And I would play it for you, but like I said, Instagram will shut me down if they hear music playing. So anyway, you could play the Brooklyn Duo while everyone else gets down there and switch to Queen Bee herself. When the bride makes her entrance, that also is a fun thing to do, Tila. But there you go. Or just use XO. You can do it for sure. I apologize if you have a question. It's way down there. There's only 47, well, not only, thanks 49 people that are sitting on my live with me. And congratulations, by the way, if you're out there following along in this with my wife and I in the wedding duo, but mostly because you're engaged, right? It's a fun, exciting, small window of your life. So try to enjoy it. I know it's stressful. I know you're trying to make a million decisions, and it can be frustrating. And if you're not stressed now, it's not if, it's when, but try to enjoy the process and enjoy picking the linens, picking the dresses, picking the flowers, picking the food, picking the music. I know I'm stressing you out just saying it, but it can be fun. It can be fun stuff, especially at the end of when you finally get there and you see it all this decision came together in a single room and you're like, there it is. There's my vision. Alyssa Romanelli said, my father isn't in my life. My mom raised me, so I'm thinking of doing a mother-daughter dance. Do you have any suggestions? Side note, we aren't really the sappy type. That's a good side note to have. Okay. So, yes, I have a whole category on my music planner for bride and mom. The ones that really hit the nail on the head are Mama Song by Carrie Underwood. That one's a bit sappy, but it's good. Because You Love Me, Celine doesn't do anything but sap, so that one's sappy. If you are a fan of Mamma Mia, Slipping Through My Fingers, oh, come on, that's a great one, but that'll make you cry. Sugarland has a song called Mother, and it's not overly sappy. It's a beautiful song. That one might work well for you. There's a new artist out. Her name is Taylor Swift. I don't know if anybody's heard of her. I think she's going to be big. She's really talented. Mark my words, she's going to get big. She has a song, Miss Swift has a song called The Best Day. And that one's a little bit sappy, but it's it's a bit faster of a song. So maybe that one would work. And then the other category, all of these songs work as well. You could do one like Stand By Me or In My Life by the Beatles is a great one. You can do You've Got a Friend by James Taylor, or You Got a Friend in Me, which is Randy Newman from Toy Story. And Bublé covered that one. I don't know if you know that, but it's You Got a Friend in Me by Michael Bublé. You're My Best Friend by Queen. If you and your mom have that kind of relationship where you refer to each other as your best friend, then by all means, that's a good one. I was going to say, I Hope You Dance, but, oh, that's savvy. Josh Groban has a song called You Raise Me Up. That's the one I was looking for earlier that I drew a blank, which happens sometimes late in the day. I had a long day. There you go. Hopefully that helped, Alyssa. If you're still on, I hope you're still on, Alyssa. Keep on going. That's a great question. And I'm thrilled that you and your mom get to have a dance. And even if your dad is still in your life, we all know mom went to the tastings, mom went to the fittings, mom went to all the meetings. She helped you with every detail. And then the wedding day finally comes and dad gets a dance. So if you want to dance with mom, if you're close, you can still dance with dad. You're talking about the song with mom is an additional 3 minutes out of the night. Mom deserves that 3 minutes. So if you want to dance with both of them, by all means, I do it all the time. Megan Donatelli said, can you recommend a song for me to dance with my future son-in-law? He doesn't have a relationship with his mother, and we are very close. He wants to dance the mother's son with me. Wait a minute. What's your name again? Megan. I mean, how much do you love this kid coming into your life? Okay, that's a good one, too. So you can do one of the mother ones, right? Wildflowers, I mentioned them before, by Tom Petty. That's a good one. Let me mention ones I haven't mentioned before. Humble and Kind by Tim McGraw or My Wish by Rascal Flatts. Those are both non-specific. They just basically say, my wish for you is to have a good life. I hope you're a good person. Humble and Kind, right? Those are great songs. You can do something like God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. That's a great song to fill in. Unforgettable, Nat King Cole and Natalie Cole is the better one for that, I think. If you want to do something a little more recent, Count on Me by Bruno Mars is a good one. Charlie Puth has One Call Away. Those are great. Lean on Me, Bill Withers. That's another classic right there. And anyway, I'm very happy to see you filling in that void in his life, Megan. That makes me happy. Okay, let me roll through all the people that are joining. Rhonda K said, really, San Diego? Dang, I wish I could hire you for my daughter's wedding. I'm sorry. I don't know where you are. I have to be somewhere. I do travel, but man, it's stressful when you travel because I have my own gear and I like my gear. Wait a minute. Ronnie Whitty, 36. Your wedding is in the castles in Scotland. I'm very jealous. I was stationed in Europe for 3.5 years. Scotland was my favorite place in Europe. I mean, I got up into the Highlands. I was there several times. I was in your capital for Hogmanay one year. Oh my gosh. I loved it. It's good to know we have people all over the world joining us down under, in Europe, from the motherland. Jamie Gibson says, I want to use The Best Part of Me by Ed Sheeran for the bride's processional instrumental for groom and mom. Yeah, for sure. I'll have to see if there's a way you can slow that down. I know when you guys put the questions up twice, you think I skipped them. I didn't skip them. I'm just trying to get through all these to get down to the current questions. Some people go live and the questions I don't think come in this fast, and they don't think I'm actually live. Promise you I'm live. Look. Boop. But I'm just trying to catch up with the questions because they're not like a one yes or no answer. Okay, so Ashley, I think you had this before, 1515, is 2 minutes too long for a bride to walk down the aisle. No. Okay, I thought you meant when you're being introduced. So you want to walk down the aisle to Can't Help Falling in Love by King of Grannis. At that pause, by all means. That is such an epic entrance. I did a video on it. I don't know if that's where you got it from, but either way, it's in the movie too, so I didn't steal it. I didn't come up with it. It's basically how they did it in the movie, but it translates so well to any venue. So, yes, in the ceremony, they will wait. The song can start. If you want, you can skip that first 37 seconds because it's instrumental. She starts singing about 37 seconds in. So have your DJ started there if you want. Or start the song and have the Flower Girls or the Ring Bearer go down at the beginning of your song because that's what they did in the movie anyway. And then shut the doors and then reopen them right when they pause. Actually, you open so the song literally stops at about 2 minutes, like you said. And then you swing the doors open and you take a step in. And then she sings, so take my hand, take my whole life too. And then she starts playing the guitar again. And that's kind of your cue to kind of to continue your walk. But while she's singing right there, when those doors swing open to complete silence, I mean, it just literally blows people's hair back, including mine, which is hard to do. So yes, in that case, absolutely let them all wait. Antigona Bestlai, I don't know what, I can't see it, but you're struggling to pick a father-daughter dance as my father does not speak English. Help. So, wait, I don't think it's on there. I gotta consult my thing. So, I do have a version of, there is a version of I Loved Her First in Spanish. And it's called Primero la Amé. And it's by Nacho Lantada. Lanatada, maybe. Nacho Lanatada. And if you looked up I Loved Her First by Nacho, I'm sure it would come up if you were in YouTube or whatever. But it's Yo Primero la Amé. Don't judge me. You can see I'm white as snow. I don't speak Spanish. There's another one by Vicente Fernandez called Es Mi Niña Bonita. There's one by Juanes called Para tu Amor. And those would all probably work. You came to the right place. I'm a DJ in South Texas. We have a huge Latin contingent down here, so it comes up quite a bit. Have you ever had anyone do Thank God by Kane Brown and his wife? Yeah, people use that one. That one's a beautiful song. People love that song. Kane Brown is he does not look like he sounds, does he? Every time I see him, I go, that's the voice coming out of you? Shell Sharp said, stepdad and daughter dance, not my wish. You were like already hitting it off in the past. Not my wish. So, if you want a song that's actually written like lyrically very specific for a stepfather, stepdaughter, there's a song called My Girl by LV Shane. LV Shane. He has one for a step boy that's called My Boy, but the other one is My Girl. They're basically the same song, just they changed the gender. But it depends on when he came into your life, right? Or when you came into his life. I don't know how you want to say it, but that talks about how going to your baseball game or whatever when you're little, or you're going to your cheerleading thing, whatever, and then kind of growing up as your dad, right? So the other one, Brandon Davis has Step by Step. He didn't have to be. I think it's Brad Paisley. Hang on, I gotta get in here. I've got all these. Step parent, Brad Paisley. Bam. He didn't have to be. But some other ones that work really well, like I said, you can do I Hope You Dance, Leon Womack. Humble and Kind by Tim McGraw. You could do My Wish. Just kidding, chill. I was gonna say, you can do Stand By Me. You can do Unforgettable it's such a beautiful song. The Way You Look Tonight. And even if the one by Sinatra is too fast, Blue Blaze is also fast. Tony Bennett has a very slow version of The Way You Look Tonight. You can do You Raise Me Up. I mentioned that one by Josh Groban. You know a great one that I don't suggest very often that is really fun? The original JT, that being James Taylor, not Mr. Timberlake, he's got a song called Your Smiling Face. Ba-bum-bum-bum-ba-bum. Whenever I see your smiling face, I have to smile myself because I love you. Yes, I do. That is a great song for a parent, step-parent, anybody. It just talks about, I like your face. And it's very toe-tappy, very upbeat. Fantastic song. That's one of those songs that if it comes on randomly, I'm in the house, and I'm just like, it's one of those songs I got to stop and go, wait. Let me just sit and take in this song. Because, sometimes you're paying attention and 5 songs go by and you didn't even really hear them because you're working on something or you're in a conversation. That's one of those songs. Ba-bum-bum-bum-bum. So, Key Couture 3, I hope you heard that when I was talking earlier about the last song of the night. I try to do one that multiple generations know. Usually a big sing-along is good because I try to get everybody out there at that point. So I love the Sweet Caroline, Don't Stop Believin', Friends in Low Places, any of those big sing-alongs. We Are the Champions, whatever it wants to be. Burkmeister Lori said, my daughter and son-in-law had the most beautiful wedding last weekend. Thanks for all your great pointers building up to the big event. You're very welcome. I'm very excited that you're still here, right? I mean, a lot of times people are like, if I have to look at another wedding post, I'm going to punch my face in the wall. Yeah, because that's one reason why I think we get a lot of followers, but we lose a lot of followers too. Because once you're married, you just go on to seeing the baby stuff or the buy a house stuff or whatever your next phase of your life is. But you don't want to see all the wedding stuff again because you're kind of over it. You're like, no more wedding stuff. But thanks for being here now, and congratulations again to your family. Suze0925 said, what is your favorite couple's first dance song? So my favorite first dance song is when the couple just forget the rest of us are there and they're just looking at each other, swaying back and forth, singing the song to each other. Ugh. I have this 3 thing. I know, and I don't say it very often because I feel like it puts unnecessary pressure and you're like, are we going to do those 3 things? They're just 3 little things that I kind of think of they checked the block on all 3 of them. The first one is personal vows, and I know that's really hard. It's not for everybody. It's a big ask, but it's really sweet when you can get up there and actually say the vows in front of your family and friends look at the person in the eye and tell them those powerful words. So that's one. When the groom cries, and I know not everybody's a crier, but I'm a crier, so I feel like some kinship when there's another man out there that is okay. And even if you don't cry regularly, your wedding day, I feel like you get like a pass. Plus, you're sleep deprived because you're up late the night before because everybody was coming into town. So, and then the last one is when you literally like sing the song to each other on the dance floor, and the rest, everybody just fades away, and the two of you are just in that perfect moment. Love it. So, let me tell you some good ones that I like for first dance or bride's entrance. Do I have to say I Get to Love You by Ruel? Great song. There's a great song by Emily Hackett called Take My Hand. Beautiful. There's a great song by Kodaline with a K called The One. Oh, I love that song. Forrest Black has If You Love Her. Great song. I mentioned the Bees before. I love Lifetime by Justin Bieber. That's a great song. Turning Page, Sleeping at Last is a great song. Paper Kites has a song called Bloom, like a flower would bloom. Beautiful. Feels Like Home, Chantal Krasiavik. I think that's how you say your name. All fantastic, beautiful songs. Any one of those work really well. Well, it's getting close to bedtime anyway, so I'll try to get a few more questions in. Not my bedtime, but my baby's bedtime, and I like to hang out with them at the end of the night as we go to bed. DJ Savage 22 said, love what you do and the passion you have for your wedding. Thank you. You look like a fellow DJ out there. I mean, it's pretty easy to be passionate about what I do. I mean, I attend parties for a living. It's a pretty good gig, but I love the fact that I get to be like at an event that's just surrounded by love. I know that sounds corny and cliche, but I've talked to florists that I'm like, hey, are you done for the day? And they go, no, I got to finish here at this wedding and I got to go to a funeral. I'm like, hey, that's an emotional roller coaster. I will take the wedding any day. People don't usually hire a DJ for a funeral, but I've told my wife if I should go early, have the DJ set up right on my casket. He can just, right? That's how I want to go. But it's true. It's like, it's a huge day in people's lives. And I'm very honored to be a part of that, right? And you should find vendors that feel that way. There are vendors out there all across the world that are passionate about what they do. So hopefully you can find and surround those people that give you that good energy on your wedding day so you can just be pretty. That's what I tell my brides. The only thing you should do on the big day is just look pretty, you and your groom. You too, Mom. You shouldn't be running around trying to, where's the toss bouquet? Where's the champagne? Where's the flutes we bought? Where's the cake cutting utensils? You should be there as a guest too. You should have a glass of wine, talking to your sister, talking to your friends. All those people that have come in for that wedding day, don't miss the party because you're running around trying to plan the whole thing. So there you go. Lacey, I just mentioned that song, Feels Like Home. I have to probably redo that one because that video is way down into my... I was going to do a video after this anyway. Maybe that's the one I'll do because it's been a while. That's such a great song. Because you can only pin 3. Well, on TikTok, you can pin 3. Instagram, they just get lost in there. Instagram, you can't put the titles on there either. TikTok, I can put on like an idea of what that video is about, but I can't do that on Instagram. Or if I can, I don't know how. So I'm way more TikTok savvy than I am Instagram savvy. All right, let me try to get a couple more questions in. Rhonda K is outside in Yorktown, Texas. Love it. Outside in Texas. I hope you get fantastic weather on that day. So there's something to be said about the weather. For those of you that are within a month or whatever, and you're just obsessively looking at the forecast, there is nothing you can do about the forecast. Stress about something other than the weather. Because here in Texas, if you look at it in the morning, it's going to change by the afternoon, good or bad or indifferent. But, it's good to have a backup plan. If you have a venue and the venue, like the person there, ask them. Because I guarantee you, if they're a venue that does weddings, they have been down this road. And they'll say, well, what we do is if we usually go outside for the ceremony, if it's pouring rain or it's really windy or it's cold as can be, or it's blistering hot maybe, all those things can be a problem. They say what we do is we put the chairs on the dance floor, we have that be the altar, and then everybody else goes out for cocktail hour out into the front room or the bar, and then we put the chairs back and we flip the room back. So people have done it, but if you're all outside, it's good to have somewhat of a plan for sure. Somebody just asked a good song here. Well, first I want to say, BLatch28, thank you for all your wisdom. You and your wife have been very helpful. Love our podcast. I didn't even mention the podcast yet. Yes, we have a podcast, the Wedding Duo podcast. And it's great if you have because I go live. I try to go live. I've had weddings the last 2 Thursdays, so that's why I've missed Instagram Thursday night. Both, I swear, I show you my calendar, but it's on my phone. But last Thursday I had a wedding, and the Thursday before I had a wedding. But I try to go live on Instagram on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central. And then on Wednesdays on TikTok, I go live at high noon Central Time, Wednesdays at noon. But the podcast is always there. And my wife and I talk in great detail. She's a planner, I'm a DJ, so we have a good perspective. But it's really good because you can see the title. And if you're doing a backyard wedding, I highly suggest you listen to that podcast because there's a lot of pitfalls if you're just going to mow the back 40 at Papa's property and do the wedding there. It's great. You save a lot of money, but there's a lot of things you got to head those pitfalls off of the past. But there's also one about loss of a loved one. There's one, if that pertains to you, that's a great way to honor, great tricks and tips in there on how to honor somebody who's no longer with you. There's one about bringing in the pets if you're a pet parent. There's one on that. Guest books. We interview a DJ from Dallas. Him and I are like kindred spirits. We had a great call. We talk about people that write vows or speeches. There's just a bunch on there. I think we're like almost 50 podcast episodes in. So let me answer this question for Mommy Joe, 55, song for blended families. So if you have, let's say he has a couple sons or daughters, and then so do you have a son or daughter. When you do dances with those, because the kids are part of this, where the two families come together, right? I did a video recently, and it was the bride, our flower girl. Actually, she was a junior bridesmaid. She was 8, and it was the bride's daughter, but the groom had been in their life for a lot of years. So he had vows for her, and then he took out another piece of paper, and he had vows for her daughter, and then he had a ring for her. He gave her a little ring. It was amazing. And then mom and daughter had a dance later, and then halfway through the song, she waved him out. And so the three of them had their dance, and it was very sweet to include her as these families come together, right? Because it's stressful on the kids too. But what I've seen, like my favorite thing to do is if they're a little bit older and they're not little and you don't want to give a necklace or something like that, you can do a dance. And so I had one where the bride had 2 sons and the groom had 3 daughters. And so we had the daughters on the edge of the dance floor. And we picked a song that was about 4 minutes long. Dad started the dance with his eldest daughter. And then after a minute went by, I was watching the time. A minute went by. I told the girls, I said, I'm going to nod you in. So I nodded to the next one. The middle child came in. She tapped her sister on the shoulder. She cut in. She danced for a minute, and then I nodded the youngest in. She came in, tapped her sister on the shoulder, and she got a minute with her dad. And then I nodded to the 2 that had come off, and the 3 of them were dancing with dad, so the 4 of them were out there, and they finished the dance with that last minute and 10 seconds. Fantastic. And then she did the same thing with her boys. So, and it doesn't have to be yours or his, whatever. It can be just like bride dances with the boys that are coming into the family, and dad dances with the girls, or vice versa. I had a bride... No, it was a groom dancing with his mom, and he was really close with his dad, too. His dad came out, and the 3 of them, the groom and both his parents, sat out there just swaying. That's the relationship I have with my boys as well. I would absolutely do a dance with my boys if they didn't say, Dad, I love you. We're not having a dance on our wedding day. Like, come on, Bryce. Don't you love me? Am I not important to you? But I wouldn't do that to him. But Lily's not getting out of it. She's getting a dance for sure, my daughter. Okay, well... Speaking of my kids, I'm going to go help put them to bed. I think my wife got everybody through bath night, but I like to tuck them in and we look at YouTube videos at night and stuff. But congratulations out there. Let me leave you with this little tip. I know right now you're stressing about centerpieces and floral and, oh my God, it's too expensive to get the Shafari chairs. Don't worry about the Shafari chairs. Your family and friends are coming to your wedding because they love you and they want to be there to support you on this big day in your life. They're not going to show up and be like, oh, the room looks great, but oh my gosh, she didn't get the Shafari chair. Maybe you have one cousin, don't invite her. She's the one that doesn't have it. But your centerpiece is the same thing. If the flowers you wanted were out of season or they were just too expensive, you don't need to be paying off your wedding on your 15th wedding anniversary, right? So try to stay within your budget. I know you're like, funny, Dominic. No, but try to stay in your budget. You don't need to upgrade everything. It's going to be a great day. Remember why you're there, for the 2 of you to commit your love to each other and spend the rest of your life together, and to party with your family and friends, and they are not going to be that judgmental. Fingers crossed. But, and if you can afford it, surround yourself with professionals, because we do this for a living. Our job is to make sure that that day goes well. So, congratulations. Thanks for following along, and we'll see you guys next week, hopefully.
So thanks for listening to our podcast. If you found any of this information helpful and you know someone who may be engaged or is a maid of honor, maybe you could tell them and share it with a friend.
Absolutely. So screenshot this episode, share it on Instagram, on Facebook, and tag The Wedding Duo. We promise to share the love back. Also, if you are interested in more resources or the show notes, you can go to theweddingduo.co. We have one-on-one virtual sessions, a shop, all sorts of fun stuff. Check it out.